The Lord is speaking to women. He says, women, you are fornicators and you are daughters of Jezebel. You're Jezebel's daughters. You have a whore's mentality and you would do anything for a man's attention, even to the extent of bearing or exposing all your flesh in public like a woman of loose morals. Then you say, don't judge me. Men, you are slaves to your lust. I keep my jewels far from you, unless you would destroy them with the hardness of your heart and with your insatiable bedroom desires. Nothing is enough for you. Even if you had a woman, you would lust for another because the fires of lust are out of control in you. My word is a leash that bridles the flesh, male and female. If you would read it, if you would love it, you could sit calm and collected, waiting for your day of remembrance from me. But you would not, so I will not. So now here, God is talking about something that has become a very interesting trend that I can see on TikTok. It's called the modesty trend. So imagine the way of life. It's supposed to be a way of life for God's people, male and female, but now it's a trend. People are trying it out, and some of the reasons they're trying it out is because the girls have heard that when you're covered up, there's a certain je ne sais quoi, there's an I don't know, and then all of a sudden people are more respectful to you, people approach you differently, men have a whole different approach to you, they don't approach you with so much braggadocio, they tend to be more respectful because there's more of you covered up, and yet this is ancient wisdom. This is not something that Queen Esther would have been confused about. That nakedness is to whorishness what Nathan's hot dog is to ketchup and mustard. So God is saying that the women are fornicators. They're sleeping around. You see the women, they are out there. They know themselves with a matching and unmatching set of children. One father here, one father there. And that does not leave out their sisters, who are smart enough to be on 22 types of birth control at the same time, just in case. They don't have the evidence of the babies, but they are no less fornicators. This includes the women who would say, but I'm faithful. You're faithful in a house and you're not married to the man. You're a fornicator. It doesn't matter if you guys have done up the most amazing love nest. It doesn't matter if you guys have been together 6 years in that house unmarried. The fact that you are tolerating an unmarried state as a woman says a lot about your character. You're a fornicator and no different than the one who's with multiple men, the one who's experiencing her delayed sexual freedom, the one who's working on her body count, the one who has lost count of her body count. All these are fornicators. If you are not the wife of one man and you are sexually active, even if you do not have a partner and you are sexually active with yourself, you are a fornicator and you are one who rages and offends against the law of God. He says you are the daughters of Jezebel. The way you present yourself, the way you paint yourself. Do you know that you can get ready and go out somewhere and you can tell the whole world this common lie that women lie? So they will dress and everything that they have will be jiggling and wiggling and barely restrained by the material that they're wearing. Some of them, they will wear the outfit long. It's slashed here, it's slashed there, it's slashed everywhere. So there's basically no point to the outfit being long because it's still revealing. It's still immodest. And then they will join the conversation, the greater conversation out there and say, I'm not dressing for the male gaze. Because why are you a liar? The lies you tell. You're absolutely dressing for the male gaze or you are dressing for the lesbian gaze. Either way, you're dressing to excite sexual interest. Because for sure, if you were just dressing for comfort, you would be in sweats and jeans. Or you would be dressed in something simple. It's different from the women who are dressing class-wise, corporate-wise, wanting to look good, as opposed to wanting to look naked. The only reason that people desire to reveal flesh is because of the spirit of lust inside them that desires to attract its kind to itself. This is where the argument of being scantily clad in public falls flat. People will talk about people being half dressed in the gym, and then they will say, the men are perverts. It's the men who are looking at us on the street. It's you the first spirit of lust that are exciting lust out there in the other recipients. Because women look at women. Gay women do look at women. Baby studs look at women. But the origin point, God is saying, is not with the viewer. So then, how do we deal with this dichotomy where the culture insists that when they get dressed, they're free to show everything, they can reveal everything, they can let it all hang out, and the full responsibility is on the looker for looking? How can you blame the looker for looking when you are the provider of what the looker looks at? That's like a prostitute getting upset when a John comes up to her and says, how much for a good time? Why are you upset? You can't put food out there to sell and then say, sorry, we're closed when buyers come. You're a hypocrite and you're a liar. God has the opposite view. He says, you are the daughter of Jezebel. You are the enticer. You are the one who is doing sex magic on the public with how you present yourself. You're the hypocrite. And heaven condemns that kind of behavior. Heaven says it's not okay. Who at this end time wants to be called a daughter of Jezebel? Who wants that to be what's on their report card? For what? Are you telling me absolutely that you can't do better? A lot of people don't know where the pivotal point, they don't know where the pivotal point, if there's a wrestling match that goes on in the spiritual realm between us and the devil, let me tell you the pivotal point, where the pivotal point is to flip him and pin him. It's the fact that you don't want to. I know you thought it was something groundbreaking. You have to break through the fifth wall. There's nothing like that. The reason you can't pin Satan, the reason you can't pin fornication, the reason you can't pin masturbation, porn, the reason you can't stop lying, the reason that you are an Olympic quality gossip and pot stirrer of note is because you don't want to pin him. You don't want to deny your flesh the flashes of lightning that it gets from gratifying itself in whatever it is that it wants. And Satan knows this. Satan knows that there's a wrestling match going on. He knows that there's a war going on, and he absolutely knows that anyone who lacks intention, you can never pin the devil when you lack intention. Nobody goes to a basketball game. Nobody goes to whatever other competitive sports, a tennis game. Nobody goes to a wrestling match and then say, well, hope it works out. Hope it works out. Nobody does that. Before people box, they're staring in each other's eyes like, I know that you're the one that killed my ancestors. They're communicating without words. They're drawing on internal intention to intimidate the other guy and to build themselves up to be able to produce what is necessary, the force that is necessary to overcome the other force. But imagine you are born again, and the Bible says, watch diligently, because you have an enemy who is roaming around like a roaring lion, seeking whom to devour. And Satan's belly is never full. He devours one person in a car wreck here. He's here to devour another marriage by having her get on the phone and call Chad from her past. He's devouring a healthy child here with some random cancer diagnosis. Constantly, Satan is looking for meals to have. And then the believers are inside the ring. I hope it works out. What Bible do you think I should read? I don't know. One with pages and words. Find one and start reading it. Intention is how you pin Satan. You're walking around and you just see the people on Philadelphia Avenue and you just tell yourself, that's not for me. Coked out meth zombie pose, that's not for me. And that's not for my children. Who of us intending to build a tower will not first sit and count the cost? What is the cost of having your veins destroyed? Having yourself addicted to a vape? Having yourself addicted to weed gummies, to psychedelic mushrooms? What's the end of that? After the initial high, after you swag and surf in the club, then what? What is the end goal? Where are you heading with that lifestyle? Is that a recipe for success? Is it? When you don't have a job, you're intentional to get one. When you don't have money, you're intentional to get it. In the same way, intentionality is required in this faith. Intentionality is required. Not only am I going to be a Christian, I'm going to be the best Christian that I can be. If I know that I have this much in me, I have a 3-talent life, I have a 2-talent life. Okay, God only gave me 1 talent. I'm going to develop that talent to the maximum. There are a lot of 1-talent people who are going to get full marks in their category because God knows what he gave them. And there are a lot of 5-category people, 5-talent people that are going to get absolutely nothing because they're coasting along using 2 talents of their life, and yet God gave them 5. And that's not going to be acceptable. If we are a full cup of juice, Jesus Christ is a straw that has the right to drain us down to the very bottom. You're supposed to want to live full and die empty. You're supposed to want to get before God and say, I planted it all. Sometimes I got no harvest, but I planted it all. You want to shake an empty bag of you in front of him and say, look, all the seed. Maybe 1 or 2 fall out and you're like, oh, I missed those ones. And he will say, well done, good and faithful servant. You don't want to waste this man's investment. You know, being here on earth is an investment. You know, a lot of babies died without even drawing their first breath because their mothers cut them up in the womb. They didn't get a shot. They didn't get a chance. They've never had ice cream and licorice. They don't know what it tastes like. A lot of people have died before their time. You that are still here, don't live at the bottom of your potential and then say God knows your heart. He knows your heart, that it's deceiving you and it's wicked. Intentionality is required in this faith. Do not give God what's left over of yourself.